The border of Aguacaliente between the countries of Guatemala and Honduras. It is a place where a lot of migrants are entering from Central America and South America. We arrived today to do our investigative reporting and to find out if the Biden border policies are effective in other countries and what the governments are giving their thoughts on this policy that is implemented in the border of the United States of America. Oscar Blue live right here from the border of Aguacaliente. That right there, as you see behind me, it is Honduras. So we are basically in the country of Honduras. This is right here, Guatemala. The border, it continues to be open, although they have some operation with some officials just to control the situation with the migrants. As we were going westbound on this entrance, there was a lot of migrants, around 200 to 500 migrants walking freely and entering into this particular port of entry between Aguacaliente, that is between Honduras and Guatemala. As you see behind me, there is an operation of officials of Honduras that their main objective is to control the behavior of the migrants as they are coming in from the country of Honduras to Guatemala. So this tells you that the Biden border policies have collateral damage, and the collateral damage has already been done. Although you try to control it now and you try to implement your laws, and your laws is a monopoly, it is a domino effect that is coming down into other countries, as Mexico now is trying to control it, regulate the entrance towards migrants to Chat River to Guatemala, and now you see exactly the same purpose that Honduras is trying to do, exactly the same thing with Guatemala, trying to control and try to regulate the entrance of migrants and to try to just maintain the behavior of them. The majority of the migrants, they are telling us, officials right here, there are migrants from Venezuela, migrants from Nicaragua, migrants from also from Honduras, that they're coming in into this particular port of entry. Although the Biden border policy is already speculated and it's already implemented that only applies to Venezuelan people, there's other entities that they're coming in into this particular port of entry. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voices and the Wendy Bell Radio Network, live from the port of entry of Aguacaliente in Honduras and also in Guatemala. The border of Aguacaliente in Guatemala next to Honduras has been witness of the consistent influx of migrants coming in from Central America and South America. But today, something is different. Something has changed. It is because of the Biden border immigration policies, in which you will see the government of Guatemala with the government of Honduras working together to try to regulate and control the mass migration in this particular port of entrance, where migrants have been consistently arriving from not only Central America, but also South America and other continents. Hi, where are you coming from? From Honduras. From Honduras. From Nicaragua. What are your thoughts on the Biden border policies that it was just implemented for Venezuelans, but not for the Nicaraguan people, but for the Venezuelans? I think that it's unfair because it was something that it was done from one day to another. It was really unfair that the U.S. government doesn't see that on their end, but in my point of view, it is unfair. Have you seen a lot of Venezuelan people that had returned back? A lot of people have stayed behind, and a lot of them are returning back because they know that they are going to be returned back from the United States. Also, I have seen a lot of families, a lot of children from Venezuela. How do you feel about this policy with the Venezuelan people? To us, that we are human beings, we are seeing how painful it is for them, and it hurts because it's really painful to watch that. Your purpose is to go to the United States. Yes, first things God, that is where we are trying to move. The travel advisors, have you seen these people operating? Yeah, there's a lot of people that they approach you like that, these travel advisors, because they go directly to the people that they do not have documents. We have documents. I have been registering in every port of entry. I'm coming in documented. The transit for migrants, it is on a constant daily basis. But those ones that they are not lucky, they get detained and returned back to the country of Honduras. The first city of transit coming in from the port of Aguacaliente, it is the municipal city of Esquipulas in Guatemala. It is right there where they wait and they rest. so that they can move forward to the other northern border, that is the border of Mexico, and from there to the border of the United States of America. We talked to a lot of them, and their experiences are extremely shocking, specifically the Venezuelan migrants, that they go through the Darien Gap, but also that they explain that migrating in an irregular fashion, it is incorrect. First of all, it was really shocking for us to hear the Biden border policy. We were really in shock when that happened. But as I said to you before, I understand the policies of every country, and I understand that a first class world country is not going to let another individual to come and implement their laws. I am agreeing that a lot of migrants that they are migrating because they want an evolution for a better life. But there's a lot of people that they migrated with the mediocre mind, a poor mind. And what they did was just complicate the things for the people that we are migrating correctly. I do not agree with the people that they are giving them the opportunity to migrate. For example, they're giving you an apartment for 6 months, and then you come and you're asking for money in the streets. I really do not agree with that. I do not agree also that another government should resolve other people's problems, because other governments do not have the obligation to resolve the problems of somebody else. The experience that really stuck in my mind, we were around 21 people in an island, and all of a sudden the river started growing massively. And the river took the 21 people and another family from Haiti. They were in a tent. And also a little girl was taken by the river. And then we walked down 10 kilometers in the mountain. We found a young little girl with her head exploded. From a lot of people that we saw on the camp of the grandfather, that is how they know it. There was a man that his heart exploded also. And a lot of things that we saw, like the Indians in the jungle, they found a migrant that he was caught stealing, and then he was shot there. He was shot there. He later on died. Thousands of migrants have been left behind and stranded in the parts like the Darien Gap and also in Central America. It is because of the Biden border policy that started being effective on the 12th of October. A lot of them, they are telling us their experiences and what they are going to do after this policy. My experience in the Darien Gap, I can tell you on the second day that I was there, and it was almost 6 hours to get out of there in the last migrant camp. We were walking by the river, and all of a sudden it started growing massively, incredibly. We were crossing the river, and it started growing in a matter of seconds. And in the group that I was with, 8 people died. A woman with her child of 3 months was pulled by the river, and it was really a matter of desperation because we cannot do anything in the river. It was growing, and it is basically to save your life or to save somebody else's life. In the group we were with, we cannot do anything. Psychologically, it has affected me a lot. Right there in the jungle, sometimes you get desperate and sometimes you want to return back. But we hear rumors that the Indians, if you return back, they will kill you or rape you. And some of them are rumors, some of them are truth. You have to live your own experience so you can know the truth. And also, the travel advisors, they tell you that they are going to be your guide all the way to Panama, and they abandon you, they leave you behind. But the thing that really punished us right now, it is the Biden border policy that it was directly affecting Venezuelans, because we were in her mind that we were going to go to the United States, but the most difficult thing is living on the streets, asking for food. I never asked for nothing. I have always worked, but right now there is no possibilities of getting a job, not even to get food. It is difficult. You cannot judge a human being by just because he's a migrant. Give him the opportunity to get to know him, and you will see that a lot of us are good individuals. The organized crime and the travel advisors are the ones that they are profiting out of more of this humanitarian crisis, in particular with the migrants of Venezuela, that they're traveling through Central America and also to the northern borders with the United States. But this next experience with something really special. This is Nilda. a migrant from Venezuela, that she went through a horrible experience in the Darien Gap. But the most curious thing is what she says about the United Nations and how there are buses charging migrants. Well, the mud goes all the way up to your knees, and it's sometimes way more than that. It is there when I saw the first person dead. He had a heart attack, and I acted like I did not saw him. I was really traumatic to go through that. At that moment, there is a lot of children crying, walking, nobody carrying them because they could not put them on their backs. The hill was too difficult to climb. I did, but with a cane. It was sustaining myself. Meanwhile, I was trying to climb it. The place we got out of there covered with hair and smelling like dead body because there's a lot of dead people right there in that part underneath us. We were walking on top of dead people. For that camp, I think that it is full with saints. Yeah, because there's a lot of dead people there. We, the Venezuelan people, we do not deserve to go through that. We shouldn't be going through that. I'm a mother that I already lost 2 daughters in Venezuela. I'm telling you, do not put your children through there. Yes, I saw children in the river. Then later on, I saw them dead. That was really traumatic for me. There were 4 children from Ecuador. The river took them. We cannot do anything to save them. It has affected me a lot psychologically. I cannot sleep. Look at the way I look. I cannot sleep because I remember them in a moment smiling, and then in the other moment the river was taking them. It's really painful. Yes, every part that we have to arrive, we have to have money. If you don't have money, you cannot buy anything. And yes, there is a migrant camp controlled by the United Nations where outside of that migrant camp there's buses that they know that they are charging us $40 a person to take us to the other town. And the first one I paid $40 and the second one I paid $15. I feel sad because it is the United Nations and we are a business for them. Everybody makes money. Everybody. The government, everybody. For example, a beverage, if it is $2, they will sell it to you in 3. If you want to buy it, buy it. If not, somebody else will buy it. I am really upset with Joe Biden. I think that is really bad what he has done. If he wanted to close the access for us, why he did not close it from the start? He would have saved a lot of people. But no, he let millions of people to die in the jungle. There's millions of people there dead. Why he waited for that tragedy to happen? There has to be somebody accountable for this. Yes, there has been so many people that they have died, and somebody needs to be held accountable for so many people. The migrant influx coming in through the first city of Guatemala by the name of Esquipulas. It's on a constant. We walked and we traveled a kilometer down the hill where we entered the country of Honduras. And we also encounter migrant experiences and stories. How's everybody doing? Oscar Blue right here, live from Honduras. This is the country of Honduras. This is the customs of Aguacaliente in the country of Honduras. We are standing in Honduras territory now, basically, as the border, it is open for migrants to come in, but they are regulating them and they are making sure that they're coming in peacefully, documented, and with a purpose. In working together with the Guatemala government, as they are doing a kilometer away from here. There is the National Guard of Guatemala working also ultimately with the government of Honduras, trying to make sure that the migrants come in correctly, documented, and peacefully. As you know, the policies that they are being implemented right now by the Biden administration have been a domino effect, not only for the Guatemala government, but also for the government of Honduras. So this is the effects that the Biden border policies are having. Ultimately, we are seeing right now that this port of entry, it is a continuous fluency of vehicles, but this is where the pathway that the migrants have come, the migrants have crossed, and they go from country to country. As you see, we're standing in Honduras, and they're going to move. Migrants move a little bit up north to the other, port of entry that is Agua Caliente, that is connected to Guatemala. I'm Oscar Blue, for Border Network News correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network, live from Honduras. In the years of 2017 and 2018, this port of entry of Agua Caliente was witness of the constant migration coming in from the people of Honduras, yelling "Fuera ho!" That was the former president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. This pathway was one of the most important parts of entry of the mass migration. Today, you will see a constant migration from countries of Central America and South America and also other continents. But ultimately, a lot of migrants from Venezuela, that they have been stranded after the Biden border policy implemented on the 12th of October. In our visit to this port of Honduras, we found a migrant from Venezuela that was stranded in this particular location. A lot of us, we left the capital of Caracas and we traveled over here as the travel advisors, they are charging you when you are out of the city. A lot of us, we don't have the possibility to finance a travel advisor, so we continue our travesty walking, and they charge between $1,200 to $1,000. The cheapest one, it is $800 for you to transit through the Darien Gap. On September 28, I left and I arrived to Necoclí, the first city that you will see. A lot of these travel agencies right there offering packages for you to travel on a boat to different islands and different parts in the jungle. They are all the way around. There's 3 agencies that they work there on that particular location. There are a lot of packages. That was one in particular that they embarked on the 12th of October. A lot of us, we were used. We are a business for these people. Let's say from the first city they call Necoclí, they will charge you first the motorcycle ride to start all the way to the mountain. And in the mountain they call the heaven. From there they will charge you another percentage so you can walk to the other migrant camp. You have to pay there also for your tent to sleep. All of this, it is commerce. It is out of human beings. And I'm talking about all the people that they have gone through there. It's not only Venezuelans, it's Cubans, Colombians, Middle Eastern, African, Asians, a lot of them towards Venezuelan people, the traffickers, they are qualifying us because of our economical situation. The migrants from Haiti, they will put them on the side, and us from Venezuela, they will put us on another side because we don't have that much money to transit. But that doesn't matter for them. They need to get paid, even if it is a tent or a glass of water. Do you want to talk about the Darien or the hell that we live in the Darien? Because that is practically hell. My experience was really traumatic. We were practically working and walking on top of dead bodies. To be exact, there were 6 situations that I saw dead people on the Darien Gap. I saw everything. A lot of people that lost their lives, people that hung themselves, and I saw a woman from Ecuador with her child that it was taken away by the river. Yes, there's a lot of delinquent organizations in there. A group that it was ambushed by a Balian group that it was camouflage. And they told us that we had to pay tax just to transfer through that particular location. And although I knew about the bad experience that I was about to encounter, I'm responsible because I took that risk. I believe that it's unfair of this Biden policy because there was a lot of people that got stranded in the middle of the jungle, that they saw the properties that they had in cars and houses. They sold everything to transit all the way over here. That's a lot of countries. In the Darien Gap, there is the United Nations migrant camp. Steps away from that place, there is some buses, and they charge us $45 to transit. Then after that, they'll charge you another $8 to take you to another migrant camp location. And truly I feel that the United Nations are the ones that they are charging this money. Instead of helping, they are charging us to transit on a bus. I believe that that is unfair. They're doing that, and also I believe that the Biden decision is completely unfair. Also, I believe that the President of the United States, why did he took this decision? And also, He could have done this a long time ago, all the way to Colombia to stop. He would have saved a lot of lives from dying. He would have put the example for people like me that we will not be putting ourselves on this horrible travesty. So why now? Why stop it now? Meanwhile, a lot of migrants are crossing from the country of Honduras to the country of Guatemala, transiting themselves to the first city that is called Esquipulas in the country of Guatemala, with the dream to go to the United States of America and also to have the freedom of transit from the country of Mexico to go to the northern borders. The migration continues in Central America with the purpose to go to the United States. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network, with images of Manuel de Jesus, photojournalist and cameraman from the borders of Honduras and Guatemala. Peace and love, because always your country is first. God bless.